So here's what we talked about last time. Just a simple gradual turn. Well, relatively simple. I guess you could say the spin turn or even the swing turn are much more simple. We're starting to get a few different things in here, and this can start to become fairly complex if you're doing a lot with it. So let's talk about making this a little bit easier to deal with. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about making our own methods, our own custom methods. Basically, what a method is, and you might hear it in other languages more, you might be more familiar with this terminology, is it's a function. But it's basically the same thing. So if you're not familiar with the idea of a method or a function, you actually are, you just don't realize it. So a function or a method is something that we have remembered, that we have learned, so we can do it again later on. And we do it for convenience, we do it for efficiency. But a lot of our day has us relying on little bitty custom methods. So like writing your name is a method. You don't have to think about how to write your name, you just have learned it, and whenever you want to call it, you can just do it pretty automatically. Tying your shoes, making a bowl of cereal, getting ready in the morning. And something like getting ready in the morning can actually include multiple methods, because inside of getting ready in the morning, you have like turning off your alarm clock, you have brushing your teeth, you have taking a shower, you have all these different like methods inside of that method. And so it's just some structure, some list of processes that you run through whenever you need to do that specific thing. We can do the same thing here. If we want, instead of having to rewrite this every single time we want to turn, we can create our own custom method. Same thing for even these weights. If we want, we could have our own custom method for a weight, we could have our own custom method for a gradual turn, for a spin turn, all these different things. So how do we do that? Well, you've actually been doing a very similar process already. Just writing this program out inside of this public static void is very similar to what we do to make a method. So we're just going to jump down to, well, I guess I'll do it on the bottom. So this curly brace is closing out this one right here, and this is our main program and what it runs. So we want to be outside of it. Not all the way outside of the whole file, which is kind of this one here, but just outside of the main program itself. So we're going to do public, static, and we're going to do void. Now what the void does is void means that nothing is coming out of this method. Nothing is coming out of this. So like when you're brushing your teeth or something, you're not bringing anything out after it, you're just doing that. Now on the other hand, if you had like a method to make a sandwich, then what's coming out is your sandwich, right? That would be here. And how you choose to make it is going to vary what comes out. So it's basically like, does anything exist afterwards? Now if you had a method that was like have lunch, then nothing's coming out because you're actually consuming it during the process. But if it's just make a sandwich, you have a sandwich coming out. And the way that works with a robot is, let's say that our robot was going to like record how far it's running, and then it would kick out that value afterwards and let the program do something else with it. That would have a value, that would have something else here, like int for integer. But we're not going to do that for this because it's just going to run something, nothing is coming back out of it. And we can talk more about that later. And then we need to give it a name, so like gradual turn. Open curly braces. And now we have created a custom method called gradual turn. Right now it's in gray because it's letting us know that we have not called this method anywhere in our actual program. If we actually just add it in here, so we can just do gradual turn, like that, now it's black because it's being called. So it's just kind of letting you know, like, hey, you created this, but you never used it. If I delete this, it will go back to gray. Now inside of here, we can put whatever we want. So if we look at our gradual turn, let's see, both are going forward, both motors are going the same speed. Here is where we actually have this gradual turn, and it's going to go, let's see, different settings, both motors are going forward, a printout, a sleep command, and then we probably want to set the motors back. So if I cut and paste all of that, I can put that all in here. And now whenever I want it to have a gradual turn, I can instead just say gradual turn. Now this needs to match what we've called it down here. And actually this doesn't match here because I accidentally capitalized it, and a capital letter is not the same thing as a lowercase letter when it comes to computers. Sure, it's the same to us, but not to the computer. So they have to match exactly. I could make more than one method. I could add in here another one, so public, static, void, and this could be go straight, and semicolons, and we can include all of this in here because there's our go straight command, and we can copy and paste it there, and now we can just tell it that we want it to go straight. And we have this go straight here as well, so we could also call it here, so go straight. Why are you still in gray? Oh, semicolons, 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 very important. Gradual turn, semicolon, there we go. And so now it will do the exact same thing it did before, but this looks a whole lot nicer to read than having all of that code in there. We could do the same thing for stop. We could have another public static void, and let's delete that part out because we don't need that. Robot stop. And we'll just copy and paste that into here for stop. And now this is robot stop, semicolon. A lot easier, right? Now you might say, but what if I want to control how long it goes straight? Right now, it can only go straight exactly this length of time. And maybe I don't like that. But that's okay, because we can modify this a little bit. We can pass a value through into this thread sleep here. So after the name, if we put in some parentheses and we need to declare the data type, this is going to be an integer because it's going to be a number that represents this time here, and we're just going to call that time sleep. And then here I can put time sleep, and as long as they match, it will pass this value through to there. Now how do we control this value? Well, we now have parentheses after this title here. So go straight is no longer go straight semicolon. It is now go straight with a value after it. And same thing for here. As we were typing that, you could see here, it even gives us a little clue, the integer time sleep, which is exactly what we had written down here inside of this. So we could change this to 3000. We could do the same thing with the gradual turns. If we want to be able to customize how long it turns, we could also do a value here. So we could do int time sleep once again. And of course this has to match it. There we go. And now inside of here we need to add those parentheses because we've actually changed how we call this function. So this could be, I don't know, what was it, 3000 or something? So if we want to change how fast or slow each motor goes, we could add in additional values. So we could have int motor A, and we could have int motor B. And so this becomes motor A, and this becomes motor B. And now inside of gradual turn, we need to add those values as well. So this could be like 360, and this could be 100. However many values you have here has to match how many values you have here, otherwise it's going to have some trouble. Now, this might seem new to you, but you've actually been using this the whole time, because even this button dot wait for any press, this is a method that was provided by Laos. All of these motor commands, these are values provided by Laos. So if we actually go back and look at what we installed when we installed Laos, and we can go into the libraries and NXT and this classes file, if we unzip this and we see what's going on inside, let's see, Java, oops, Laos, NXT, and here we can see motor, here we can see button, and if we open these up, we can see these public class that are set up very similar to what we've been writing. So you've essentially been using custom methods the whole time. You just haven't written your own. You used some that were provided for you by the people that created Laos. You can see this one is much more complex than the previous one was. And isn't it nice that you don't have to write all this yourself, that some of that they did for you?